Hello and welcome to Generation BTS, the podcast where we normally review BTS albums, but not today.
Hey!
Not today. No, yeah, today we're going to talk about our trip to yet to come in Busan, which is hopefully going to be exciting. Yeah, we managed to go all the way out there to the last OT7 BTS concert that we'll have for a while, at least we think so. So that was really special. So we wanted to just tell you all about that and hopefully make you a bit jealous, but hopefully you'll also enjoy it. And if you went as well, then hopefully you'll enjoy reminiscing with us.
Yes.
But yeah, first let's introduce ourselves. I'm Kristine, I'm 29 and I've been ARMY about 1.5 years now.
I'm Leanne, I'm 33 and I've been ARMY for about 9 months now.
I'll just correct it there. It's Leampp.
Oh, get lost.
Yeah.
No.
For all avid listeners, one of our hosts has got a new name since we were in South Korea. So if you want to refer to, if you write in, if you comment, if you put any reviews up on iTunes or anything like that, we are Kristine, Natasha, and Leampp.
No, not Leampp. Leanne.
No.
Leampp.
Double P.
2 P's. That's how you spell it. Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself as well, Natasha?
I'm Natasha. I'm 19 years old and I've been ARMY for 6 years. And just a quick shout out to Kevin for getting the Blackpink tickets because you're a bad bitch.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my friend Kevin who got us tickets to see Blackpink when they come in
December.
In December, yeah. So we're going to go see them at the O2 here in London, which should be exciting. But we're here to talk about BTS. So, yes. So yeah, let's go back to them. First, we want to just let you guys know that we are not experts on K-pop music or BTS.
We're just fans of the boys sharing our opinions.
And please be aware, we do swear.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we need to start off on a bit of a sad note. It's been 2 weeks and a day now since the concert, and unfortunately we are recording the day after we had the tragic events in Itaewon where there was an accident or a crush of people that ended up about 150 people, I think, now have been pronounced dead, which is obviously tragic. And we've had more injuries and people suffering other kinds of trauma as well. So we just wanted to acknowledge that and obviously say that our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and the families and friends of the victims and those affected. So yeah, I think it's especially poignant because when we were in Seoul, we stayed in Itaewon and we went out a couple nights in those streets that we're now seeing on the news. So it feels like it's hit quite close to home. Obviously, it would be tragic anyway, but yeah, it feels sort of closer than it might otherwise have felt, I think. Yeah.
And we've made some friends while we're out in Seoul and we've been able to reach out to them, make sure that they're all safe and well, which is obviously a relief. But it's hard to think about people of our age just out trying to celebrate Halloween and then it becomes a tragedy, right? It's very difficult to see how an event can turn very, very quickly. And I can't even imagine what it's like for everyone out there and their families. We're just sending lots of love and support and thoughts to everyone that's been affected.
The other thing that we've had this weekend, which is much more positive, is Jin's Astronaut, his single with Coldplay. So that came out on Friday. Obviously, we had the music video, and then this morning we woke up to his performance from Buenos Aires. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the Astronaut?
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's really sort of soft and sweet. It's a really nice vocal. It's been stuck in my head for a little while. The only line that I've got stuck in my head though is the "when I'm with you," and I don't know what comes after.
There's
like
no one
even
else.
even though it's an English line, it's just "when I'm with you" over and over again, just on cycle.
Oh, I think I could do the whole English chorus, but like that's it. Though.
You are better at looking at lyrics than I am.
My brain is like a song lyric swamp.
So yeah, I really like it. I think it's nice. We really liked the MV, didn't we? The soft concept.
Yeah, he looks very soft and cuddly in some of it, and then some of it he's in a suit, which is a bit strange, but he looks great.
We liked the Easter eggs.
Yeah. Or the braille, is that how you say it? Yeah, writing that he has on his neck where it says army, I think, and then it's in the crossword. Obviously, all the words in the actual crossword are related to sort of army and BTS, but then the black spots as well also spell out. What was it? It said, Tash?
I think it says for army.
Okay.
For you.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I like the song as well. I think it's very Coldplay, as is My Universe. But yeah, and they've sort of continued on this space theme and their Coldplay collabs. so
Coldplay collabs in space.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the next one's going to be like about the stars. What are your thoughts, Tash?
I did think it were a bit annoying at first, but I'm warming up to it, listening to it a bit more, rather than just like the 4-second snippet on Instagram all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before, but I don't think the intention isn't that you're meant to like go out and rave to this song, right? It's meant to send a message about, you know, how he wants to say bye to army before he enlists and then come back, and sort of it's intended to communicate something about the relationship rather than necessarily being like best song ever, I think.
It's no Super Tuna.
No, did you see Super Tuna was trending at number 1 on like iTunes Hot 100?
Yeah.
We were excited that they put Super Tuna on Spotify because you think that means they're going to put the other SoundCloud songs on Spotify.
Oh my God, my life would be made if they put all the SoundCloud songs on Spotify. Please, Big Hit, if you're listening, please.
Which they are.
Whichever iteration of your company, please do me a solid. Thanks. Yeah. And the performance out in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, the performance is really beautiful.
Chris Martin did a lovely intro about not othering and sort of judging people who were different or come from different cultures and backgrounds and things like that. And he sort of talked about his collaboration with BTS that started 2 years ago and how it sort of turned into this beautiful thing, and welcomed Jin onto the stage. And I was quite worried because they announced it quite late. I was worried that there was not going to be any army there, but there were some people, yeah. So that was good.
There's the girl with the like army will wait.
Yeah. Oh, that was cute.
We met a big amount of team Kim Seok-jinners when we were at the Busan concert. They came out like in full force, yeah, with their
and pointed at poster.
They wore the blankets. They wore the blankets and they handed out lots of posters. Natasha was just pointing at the one that she's got set up in her room. They were just adorable.
And the whole subway in Busan, where like the subway next to the concert venue was all like decked out and Kim Seok-jin. It was like Jimin at the top because it was Jimin's birthday, so all the sort of entryway was Jimin, and then when you got down to the station, it was just Jin everywhere.
And then weirdly, when you were tapping out, it was V.
Yeah. At the turnstiles, it was V. Right, so I think we'll just talk through our trip. Yeah, so we flew out to Seoul on the 8th of October, got there on the 9th, quite late in the day, and then we sort of got to our apartment, decided to head out for some food, and the streets were just full of people for Hangul Day.
So we decided we sort of got a bit swept up, right? So we got a bit swept up in what, like, being in Korea and being, we're going to have to say it right, being surrounded by the most handsome men we've ever seen.
Wow,
right?
yeah.
So we definitely thought, like, for anyone that hasn't gone to South Korea, you should.
Yeah.
So I think we thought that, like, BTS handsomeness levels was like top 1%, 2% of all of Korean men.
The thing was, I was thinking this because we watched a drama. We watched Attorney Woo, and we loved it. It was great. But yeah, and in that one, there's a very handsome guy,
so
right?
Handsome.
But there were like literally going crazy about how handsome this guy is, and all the girls in the office is like giving him gifts and stuff. And this is the way that they talk about idols as well. They're like, oh my god, that one's handsome. But turns out you go on the street, you can find like 50 guys that are as handsome.
50% of the guys out there were as handsome as BTS.
Yeah. It was crazy.
We could not cope.
No, I'm just like, you guys just stop buying gifts for this one guy in the office. Just literally go on the street. There's another one just there.
So handsome.
So yeah,
less talented, and some do have bad attitudes.
Yeah,
so we got some really good advice from a girl in a club that we have to be aware of the difference, because there are some men who have bad attitudes.
Yeah.
So we were looking for ones with good attitudes. So we got a bit swept up in how great it was. And so even though we'd done a 12-hour flight and we'd technically been awake for about 24 hours and we were in our plain clothes, so I had like my glasses on, not my contacts. I'm pretty certain we smelled vile.
Yeah.
We didn't have any makeup on. We stayed out till 5 a.m.
Yeah, that was good. It was a good day. And then we met some people who were a little bit like, oh, I can't believe you're flown all the way out here for the BTS concert. Obviously, we love BTS, but it's not necessarily the coolest thing when you're out there.
Can be seen as a bit lame.
It depends on like who you meet, obviously. So we met some people who were a bit like, oh, that's a bit weird, and so we didn't want to change based on what they said necessarily, but we also maybe didn't want to be like holding up signs to be like, we're ARMY, please.
We didn't take our ARMY bombs to the club.
No, so
we took them to we found a lot of dedicated BTS events much later.
We did, but on the first night we were a bit like tentative. So yeah, they played a couple of BTS songs in the club, and we were like, we don't know this, we don't know this band.
And I wasn't wearing my Koya headband or my
Namjoon shirt. Yeah, I changed my phone background from Yoongi to something else.
Only for those first few days.
For the first few days, yeah. And then we got much more secure later on, which was good. But yeah, I remember they played Butter at the club, and we were like, oh, we don't know who these people are. That was just the first day. On the first day, we had corrupt morals and we were weak. So apologies.
And we were trying to fit in, right? We don't want to be offensive. We didn't want to be branded as certain things.
We didn't want to be.
We were a bit insecure about where we were. We got turned away from a few restaurants. We didn't know if it was full or some of the policies around foreigners, because some restaurants don't let in foreigners, and obviously we don't know the language. And
yeah, we were still trying to adjust, but I think we did a good job, because we ended up making friends and staying out till 5 a.m. So,
and we had really good Korean barbecue.
We did, yeah, really good. And then, also when we came into the restaurant, they started playing BTS, which was nice. We didn't hide them.
The barbecue was nice, but Leampp burnt it.
Yeah.
And go on.
The sign on the wall definitely did say, do not burn the meat, you will ruin the meat. So Leampp burnt majority of it because she's just so jealous, and she just didn't want us to have any nice meat that night.
That happened. Yeah.
No, I'm just not very good at cooking meat over an open flame when I've been awake for 20 hours.
Yeah, no, she was just jealous. That's all.
Main tip
that's all,
for
folks.
Anyone going out to South Korea is we got the app Papago.
Yes.
Which you can take pictures of menus or signs or whatever, and then it'll translate it into English, maybe a broken version of English, but enough for you to understand.
I think Google Translate does that too, but Papago is better.
Better.
I can read Hangul both, so I don't know a lot of the words.
And then we got to the Airbnb. We stayed in an Airbnb, which was lovely.
Yeah, we did. It was on a hill. Very hilly, so very, very hilly. And then I think the next sort of interesting thing that we did was go to the merch store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Myeongdong.
No.
Oh, the one in the mall. Oh,
yeah, the yet to come.
The merch saga.
Yet to come pop-up store.
So the yet to come Busan pop-up, where they did the yet to come hoodies, as well as lots of artist-made merch.
Mm-hmm. And when we say lots, they probably had like 10 of each item every day. But
so the first day we went to that, we were a little bit late getting there.
Well, we struggled to find it for a while. Didn't really manage to get anything, except we got our ARMY bombs. That was good.
Yeah, secured those.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is Kristine and I had seen a lot of the artist-made merch and seen how available it was. And obviously we were aware of the prices that we paid to get it shipped here and how much we paid to get it from resellers.
Secondhand, yeah.
So then we became marginally obsessed with going back to this yet to come Busan pop-up every day.
Yeah, we
went
back 3
days. Which is really difficult, because actually Kristine and I hate the morning.
Yeah, we're not morning people.
We not morning people. But this thing opened at like 10, so we were like, if we get up at 8,
And you
the next day.
You had to get there really early. You couldn't get there at 10. You had to get there early to queue.
You got like a little number.
Yeah, and some people slept in the queue. So we were never going to be the first people in, but we thought we would maybe be able to. I think the first day we were like 140, and then we wanted to be like maybe like 50.
Yeah. So the next day we were 99. Natasha didn't come. Enough. Natasha had tapped out. She was like, "I'm not about this." One, because
she's a student.
She's a student. Yeah. She's like, "I don't need all of the stuff," and I need to own everything.
Yeah. Day 2 to the merch store. Didn't really manage to get anything.
I got the Hobie pots.
You did, yeah. You got the plant pot set.
With the little Hope set.
With the Hope set, yeah. And then I think we got like some like wristbands for our army bombs.
Yeah, we did.
We both bought something at least, because this is where the story gets interesting.
Though in the store, because you got there 2 hours early, then you waited 2 hours to get into the line. So you can see him through the window when you get like to the front of the line. There was one sugar necklace left on the stand. And I was like, Kristine, that I want that necklace. And then I watched a girl pick it up and put it in her basket. And then we were let in like in the next wave. And I was just like, why?
Yeah, that was sad. I think I also saw JK's hoodies get sold out. The color I wanted was sold out already, but the other color sold out while we were in the line, so that was sad. But yeah, then we went to check out, and then you had a little encounter.
I did. So before we went to Seoul, as part of my, can't be midlife crisis because I'm only in my 30s, but as part of my life crisis, I decided to dye my hair pink. And the girl at the checkout was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. It's really great." And then she started telling me about how the customer ahead of her had been really rude to her and had actually sworn at her. And I was like, "Oh, God, that's so awful. Like, I'm so sorry that happened." Then she instantly asked me if I was into football, where I was from, and then what my football team was. And then Kristine works for Tottenham Hotspurs. So she said she was a big Tottenham fan, and I was like, "Oh, my friend's actually a Tottenham fan." Kristine came over.
Yeah, well, I told her if she was ever in London, like to send me an email or something. I gave her my email. And then
we asked her for some insight into what happens with the merch, because this was our second time trying, and we were like, "We keep getting here too late." So we exchanged a couple of emails where she was like, "The stock arrives from Hybe at like 7 a.m. We don't know what we're going to get, but there's normally about 10 of each one, except for Tay's bag and JK's lamp. You'd be lucky if there's 1 or 2 of those. What are you looking for? What do you want?" And also she said in Kristine's email, like, "Tell your friend, like, thank you so much for being so kind and friendly." And I was like, "I'm so kind and friendly."
Yeah, she said she didn't normally talk to customers much, so she said it was really special that she was so like kind to her, so that was nice.
She told us what time to get in the line.
Well, she said she didn't really know what time to get in the line. She said about 6 a.m. and we were about a bit like, we're not going to get there for 6 a.m. That's ridiculous. But she said that what she could do was just, if we told her what items we were after specifically, there were rules in the store. So you could only buy one JK hoodie, for example. You can only buy one sugar necklace. So
to stop reselling, we think, which is fair.
Yeah. What she ended up doing was, she said, if someone brings up too many of an item, I'll put those items aside, and then when you come up to pay, I can give you those items as well. So
we really looked out.
We did, yeah. We got there
still early. We were number 60 in the queue.
Yeah. We got the train the wrong way, or otherwise we would have been
we
would have been a little earlier. But no, it was fine. Yeah, we think we got on like a fast train that didn't stop at all the stations, because all of a sudden we were like way past the station we were meant to get off. So
what were you doing while we were doing that, Natasha? You were in bed.
Yeah, I were in bed. I did have a bit of cold though, so
that is true.
Yeah, you did. So yeah, we got there day 3. They ended up having Sugar's notebook set in the store, so I picked up one of those. That was great,
because we were number 60 by then, so that was good.
Yeah,
the Yet to Come hoodie, the purple one, they had that.
They did. Yeah,
so I
you
got
that
of those
one
for the concert.
And then this girl, who will remain nameless, obviously we don't want to get anyone in trouble, but our merch guardian angel, she texted us to say that she had one of Hobie's bags and one of JK's hoodies in the grey, which is the color that I wanted, behind the till for us. So that was good. And then we stressed a lot about like trying to aim to get to her, because there were like probably like 6 tills, and we obviously needed to go and check out at her till. So we were like, been like, oh, well, if we don't end up getting to her, then we need to pretend like we're deliberating over our items like a few times so that we can like aim for the cashier that we need. But yeah, eventually we ended up working out, like she finished just before we were heading up with her previous customer. So then
more stars aligned.
We got to the till, sort of handed her our basket of stuff, and then she like dropped on the floor. She was like, oh my god, no, I've lost the bag of stuff. And then she sort of bent down, got all the stuff she had put behind the till, all of our stuff, and put it back on the desk. It was like, this was what you had, right? This was it. And we were like, yeah.
I felt like we were in like a heist movie, you know, like when we came in, she'd asked what we were wearing. And then another lady came over, started speaking to her in Korea, and it sounded like there was a problem. And then we were really stressed. We were like, oh no, she's going to get fired. She's been really nice to us. But thankfully it was about a different issue.
Yeah, it was about something else. She texted us to confirm after.
So in exchange for about £200, we left with a lot of artist-made merch.
Yeah,
and we were very happy.
Yeah, you didn't get your sugar necklace.
I didn't get my sugar necklace.
I already have a sugar necklace, but Leanne really wants one as well. She wants to copy me. She's
I
jealous.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so I left with Sugar's notebook and JK's hoodie, and you left with
hubby's bag, and then the yet to come hoodie.
So yeah, good haul in the end.
Worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
Good army karma.
Yes.
Be kind out there, guys, because it may come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, also really weirdly, we met these two Mexican girls when we were in the mall in Jamshel. One of them had a ticket to the concert. We sort of got to talking to them. And one of them had a ticket to live play. We sort of chatted to them for a bit. And then we ended up running into them like 2 other times. Once in Busan, and then another time when we were back in Seoul. It was very strange.
I thought it was really sweet that they'd like... It was like army friend goals. Like I think as a foursome, when Andrew joined us, we achieved lots of big army goals. But I was like, it's so sweet that like these 2 army friends have come out, and one of them's just going to go to the live play and support her friend, even though her friend's going to the concert. And we did meet a lot of army who were alone, right? Because obviously with the raffling system,
it would have happened to us though, because if one of us had gotten tickets in the raffle, then obviously the rest of us would have been at live play. Yeah. But that's not how it ended up happening in the end. So yeah, we were talking about merch. So should we talk about Myeongdong? One of the evenings we went to Myeongdong, which is this sort of underground shopping center that Natasha knew about. And they sell a lot of albums there, and also a lot of maybe not so official merch. Some of the BT21 stuff was official, I think, but a lot of the other merch, not official, but still fun and cheap. And
a little bit overwhelming. Like, you're just like, oh my God, there's so... I think because, like, to some extent, we are starved of merch here. Like in London.
Sure.
Like in London, we've got places where we can get Korean food and the albums and stuff. And it's fine. So we get a lot of our merch online. But pay the army premium.
Yeah.
So it was just like looking at like the stickers and the key rings, and I was like, how much is this? And you were like, £1. And I was like, I must own them all.
Yeah.
And then we were like, I'm going to get these little BTS stamp stickers for all of my important BTS mail. You were like, I'm going to get some sugar post-it notes. And I was like, how much are they? And you were like, £1.20. And I was like, oh yeah, I need some RM post-it notes.
Yeah, I got sugar post-it notes for absolutely use at work. I got a sugar scheduling book. That was good. I got loads of different pens.
Oh, that's when I got my RM T-Money card.
Yeah, you got your T-Money. So T-Money card is like what you use to travel. It's kind of like an Oyster card. So they make like T-Money cards with BTS on them. So you got your RM card really early. And then later on, I got one of the sugar ones.
What did you get? I'm gone.
I did get a lot of treasure stuff because everything was so cheap, so we obviously just bought as much as you could fit in your bag and more. I got a few albums. I got a lot of stickers. I got a paper binder. I got big, like you can get a poster set, so you get 12 posters and a sheet of stickers for 7,001, which is like what, £4? They do like every group you can think of. They do for the bigger ones like BTS and like Twice, they do like individual members. They do a lot of actors. And yeah, it's a lot. And because I'd been there before and seen how cheap it was, that's what stops me from buying it in England. Like, I'll look at it, admire it, but like I'll not buy it knowing the fact that like if I ever go back to Korea, I can get it for so much cheaper.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, I just love it. So that's why I bought so much and took an empty suitcase. That's like one thing that you need to do. If you are a K-pop stan, you need to take an empty suitcase to Korea to fill it up with as much stuff as possible, because that's what Kristine and Leanne just didn't do this time. But next time, we're going to be on it.
Yeah.
And we managed to get it all home,
we did manage to get it all home with some help from Tasha's empty suitcase. But yeah, I think like when you go get merch here, you have to like pace yourself very much. You can maybe get like 1 or 2 things. But then being out there, I was like, well, I want all of this stuff. I'm just going to buy it. So we got like little coffee mugs. We got quite a lot of albums. We haven't opened a lot of them yet because we want to save them for when we're feeling down.
Yeah. When we got the albums, didn't we? We got 6 albums for £50?
Mm-hmm.
6 BTS albums for £50.
£50. Like, they were like £7 each. Yeah. Crazy.
But we couldn't get some of the big ones, like the Big Map of the Soul one, because we didn't have the suitcase
No,
space.
yeah, we were a bit restricted by suitcase space. I really wanted to just get all the albums we don't have, but we couldn't. We limited ourselves to 6.
To the small ones.
Yeah, the small ones. I also got 2 Memories DVDs. So they had loads of the old Memories, End of Year, those like BTS and Saipan and all that sort of packaged content, the DVDs. But the older you got, the more expensive it got. So like some of the Memories like 2018 and those ones were like 120, 150 pounds. I didn't get those, but I got Memories 2020 and 2019, and we already bought 2021.
And then we got all of the stickers, the badges, the pins. It's just so much.
Yeah.
I was just completely overwhelmed.
And then I got...
we got the little figurines and the pop-ups and the keyrings.
Fridge magnets.
Fridge magnets, big
Fridge
ones.
magnets.
Eye masks.
Eye masks we got.
There is also lots of other, as well as the underground shopping centre thing, there's a lot of other shops just dotted around in front of the like street food stands where you can get the odd BT21 thing, or like they'll have like unofficial BTS t-shirts, and like, so there is a lot of other stuff just dotted around. You just got to like stumble upon it.
Yeah. We went to one phone case store. They had some phone cases. Some of them were BT21, some of them weren't.
Sockets.
Yeah.
Enough pop sockets to last us forever.
A lot of pop sockets.
And then socks.
And they had loads of socks. We've got some Shiki and some Koya socks. We also went to the place where they had earrings, like all the way up the wall.
To the ceiling.
Yeah, all floor to ceiling earrings. And they had some of the sections, the ones that I found the most fun were the sections where they put like idols and actors' faces near the earrings and was like, this is what they wore, and these are these earrings. And they had quite a lot of Jimin earrings. So I got some Jimin earrings.
For the concert,
yeah. And then I got like 10 more pairs of earrings. Also very cheap earrings.
Mm-hmm. And super trendy.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun designs. Again, there was a lot to choose from, and I'm a bit OCD when it comes to this sort of stuff, so I really want to look at everything, but you just had to give up.
Well, the guy that closed the store, and we were still in it.
Yeah.
Basically turned the lights off.
Yeah, that was the first time we went. We went back there later. We also managed to go to the official BT21 Line Friends, or it's just Line Friends, isn't it? The store is just Line Friends, and then they have BT21 as part of that. By then, we'd already got quite a lot of merch, so I didn't buy all that much.
I bought the board game.
Yeah, you did. Oh,
yeah. Is it called Yut?
Yeah, Yut Nori, I think.
Yut Nori, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little board game, BT21 board game, which has got little figurines, and you play Yut Nori. And
yeah, they play it on Run.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's, I presume most people would have seen it, but it's the one where they throw like
the sticks.
Big sticks in the air and then they land in different configurations. And I had such trouble when I watched that Run episode of like figuring out how that game worked. I've since played it in my Korean class and it's fun. So
I got that with the little BT21 characters, and I'm hoping that we can use it when we fulfill our dream of opening a Korean board game cafe.
Yeah.
So watch out for that, listeners.
Yeah.
So that was really great. I got that, and I got some Koya stuff.
Yeah. And then I got my new favorite sweatshirt, which got some American style pancakes on and some shuki syrup. And it has little shukis all over the pancake stack really and with berries and stuff. So it's overly sweet. And they had, your friend just had a baby, right? And they had baby section, but it was all
cookies.
All cookie, yeah. That was weird.
No, you got the mobile which were all the characters.
Yeah, the Koya one.
Yeah.
But the baby clothes were just Cookie.
Yeah.
There was only Cookie baby clothes available.
Yeah, it looked like weirdly
But it's
they'd
because
only
she said he's
made
the
Cookie.
baby.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Because he's the yeah, so
Fine,
Cookie's the baby in the
fine.
group. So I got him the little Cookie baby grow. And I got them a Koya mobile.
Yeah.
So that they can be inspired by his geniusness while they're young.
And I got a Shiki one for my stepbrother who's about to have a baby. Well, next year, but still. Be early.
Can wait.
Be prepared. Yeah, exactly.
They also sell Truz stuff in the Lime Friends store in Hongdae, which is treasures, little characters.
Nice.
So yeah, long story short, there's a lot of merch that you can get at very, very good prices.
They also had a huge Chimmy like body pillow. If they had them in other characters, they would have definitely gone in suitcase.
Moral of the story is go to Korea, get your merch. And then we went to Jimin Land. We got there on the 9th, and Jimin's birthday is on the 13th. We were traveling on his actual birthday, but obviously there were birthday celebrations that we found in Seoul. So we'd seen that there was this celebration called Jimin Land. There were a few advertising boards and stuff like that, and we found that road in the mall.
That had all of the like electronic billboards near the
Starfield Library. It's in the COEX Mall.
Yeah, so near there were lots of the advertising boards. We stood there and waited a while for them to come back up, and it was all sorts of like Jimin performances and stuff, and that was really good.
And it's the comics one where we went and then saw the big billboard, the big 3D billboard, which was just absolutely mesmerizing. There was one where there was like a car that felt like it was coming out.
Yeah. That was not cool. Jimin related, but it was a cool billboard.
Cool billboards.
Yeah, they did have a BTS Cookie Run advert, so we stood and waited for that for quite a long time, and it didn't come back out, which was sad.
We've just seen the end.
Yeah.
Seen one car.
But it did have the advert where it looked like the car was gonna come out and hit you, and it was like around a corner, so it looked like a cube. And then we managed to find Jimin Land, which was in Seongsu, I think. It was this sort of little courtyard.
Yeah.
And it had sort of Happy Jimin Day banners like all across the entrance to the courtyard. There were all these little like restaurants and shops around, and they put sort of his pictures up in the middle and hung sort of big versions of his pictures all around. And yeah, I think we're not going to be able to do it justice by explaining it.
Please go to our Instagram and look at our reels.
Or it's on our YouTube at Generation BTS.
Yeah, so Instagram or YouTube if you want to check that out.
And they had Jimin Pizza.
They did.
And the bit where you could take your photograph.
Yeah. So it was his concept photo for B, I think, where he's in the room with all the flowers. So you could get your photo in the big sort of booth with the flowers. So we did that, obviously. Did the classic Jimin and then sort of popped our shoulder out of our jackets.
We were right behind this mother and daughter. So we took ones of them together. They were really, really cute.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the best thing that happened at Jimin Land?
Yeah, so if you watched our Instagram stories, you might have seen this already, but we were at Jimin Land queuing up for the photo, and this older gentleman came up to us.
Maybe in his 50s.
Yeah, maybe a bit older. And he had this sort of stack of photo cards, and he went up to everyone in the queue and he was like, who's your bias? Who's your bias? And then we obviously told him who our bias was, and then he handed us like an A5 photo of our bias. It was very cute. And it wasn't like trying to promote his Etsy shop or his podcast or like whatever. Because we brought some photo cards too, but they had like our QR code for the podcast on the back and like a little bit of info and stuff. So we were handing those out. But yeah, this guy, he was just handing us photos of our bias.
Yeah, and he was so sweet because it wasn't even like a few. It was like 100 of each one. So he had about 800 photos. And then he was just talking to everyone, going up to everyone and just being like, here you go. And he was just so sweet and so unexpected.
Yeah, he had no ulterior motive.
Yeah, and like when we see other ARMY, they do tend to be sort of young girls, and then we sort of relate to them.
Or like at least girls.
Yeah, or at least girls. Yeah, this is just this really just sweet old man.
And it wasn't like he was staying there to be like, oh my god, like, don't you love BTS? He was just like, well, who's your bias? Here's the photo. Okay, next one. Yeah,
next one. I've got work to do. I've got joy to spread.
Important business. Yeah, he's on important business. And then we went upstairs. There was this cafe where they had some of Jimin's performances, and they played the music and stuff. and got some nice cake there. There were more photos in that hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was our experience at Gym and Land.
Really good.
Yeah, really good.
I'm really glad that we happened to be there around one of their birthdays, actually.
Yeah, me too.
The concert could have easily been any other time, right? We wouldn't have been able to experience that.
For sure. No, I think that added something as well.
I think if we go in the like early September, we could cover off JK and RM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I think the only other thing we want to talk about before we talk about going to Busan is the day we went to Tuxum. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe that was the same day as Gym and Land, but
it was the same day as Gym and Land, the same day we got the Hobie Pots.
Yeah.
So you still weren't feeling very well, but we'd met after. So the weather actually when we were out in Seoul was glorious. It was so warm, like in the 20s most days, a bit colder at night. We went to Tuxum Park.
Yeah, where for anyone who hasn't listened to our Wings Solos episode, which is out now.
Go and listen to it.
Yeah. But RM wrote his song Reflection from that episode there in Tuxum Park, and he talks about hanging out there. He recorded some audio of the people who were there when he was sort of thinking about the song. He talks about going there when he feels sort of frustrated with himself, or when he doesn't feel like he likes himself very much, or when he's a bit overwhelmed. And he talks about being in Tuxum Park to sort of recenter himself. So
and that finishes on the I wish I could love myself. Repeat over and over again. It was really beautiful. There was a couple of times when we were there when I felt really close to them, or really close to RM in particular. When we weren't at the concert, like there was times when I really felt like we were just like living this fantasy life that they recommend you live to be happy, and we were finally doing it. Tuxum was one of those, and when we arrived at Tuxum we actually did the unboxing video of the Hobie pots, like looking out onto the water.
We haven't put the unboxing video up anywhere, so you've not missed that, but we might do later.
And then the highlight of the being at Tuxum was that we did some Namjooning, right?
Yeah.
So we hired some bicycles and like rode around the river on this glorious day. The girls were really sweet and let me hire a tandem rather than free singles. So yeah, we had one tandem bike and one single, and like rode them around. Like we were in these, we swapped out, so everyone got to go on the tandem. But the tandem was quite hard. Yeah, it was hard to get it up hills.
It was really scary sitting on the back of the tandem going up a hill. There was one time I was on the back and Natasha was in the front, and Natasha sort of stood up to like pedal harder up, and I literally thought I was going to die because we didn't have helmets or anything. So yeah, but the whole rest of the experience was very sweet really and fun. Lovely, and
got lots of videos. Yeah. We saw the I Heart Soul signs. I did some pictures and videos around there, and really beautiful.
So yeah, we had a great time in Tuxum, didn't we?
Tuxum was great.
Namjooning around. But yeah, should we get to Busan then?
Yeah, let's talk about Busan.
Yay, okay. So we got the train down there. It was really quick. We stopped in Daegu.
Daegu, yeah.
Which is where Tae and Sugar are from. We didn't get off the train. Passed by Daegu, but that was special. And then we ended up in Busan.
Yeah, you edited the podcast, you edited reels, and I crafted our photo cards.
Yeah. Leanne was gluing our
little craft project on the go. Yeah. Using all my yet to come washi tape.
So yeah, that was a productive train ride, definitely, for all of us. So yeah, and we got to Busan. It was quite late, and we got to our accommodation. Our accommodation was like quite far outside the city, just because we
booked really late.
Well, we didn't book that late, but we booked like after
they announced the concert.
Well, obviously we had to know what day. So yeah, we got in a taxi. Thank God for
Kakao
taxi. Yeah, lifesaver. Really cheap as well. Taxis in Korea, super cheap. So yeah, we got a taxi all the way out to the place where we were staying, which was this sort of beachfront Airbnb complex.
Glamour sex pad.
Yeah, it was.
It had a mirrored ceiling. It was definitely designed for.
It wasn't
romantic
mirrored.
nights together.
It was like a reflective surface. I'd say it was like it wasn't a mirror, but you could see yourself. And it had like a fake fireplace, and
it was very glam.
Yeah, it was very bougie. It was like the definition of bougie.
Yeah, it was definition of bougie.
Yeah, and we had a lot of trouble getting in. So I had like this door handle. I'm sorry if this is too much detail about our Airbnb, but it was funny to us. It had this door handle that had no buttons or numbers on it, but he'd given us a code that we needed to enter, and we were like, where do we enter this code? Like, there are no fucking buttons anywhere.
There was no one around.
There was
no
one
Airbnb,
around.
not a hotel.
It didn't
so
have a
it's
reception
private
or anything.
entrance.
We ended up struggling for quite a while, and then we ended up like trying to text with the Airbnb guy, and he was, at one point he said, try to steal the whole handle. Which we were like, what do you mean steal the whole handle?
So we were like grabbing, we sent him like a picture of me like gripping the handle and trying to like pull it off.
Yeah, and at the end he was like, you need to put the code, and I was like, there is no buttons. You see my problem, there is no button anywhere.
We sent him lots of pictures, and he said, put your palm on the like handle, and then when we did that, it brought up like a digital display. I felt like we were in an escape room.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, I don't know how we were meant to know that. I feel like they could put that in the instructions, like put your palm on the thing and the buttons will appear, and then you put the code in. But no, they had not. They were just like, put the code in, and yeah.
I think when I see like vlogs, people have that type of handle, so I guess it's just in like England don't have any technology like that. We have a key to our door, so I guess you were just like looking at us to be like, these people are so stupid. Like, why do you not understand stealing the handle is way to get in?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, maybe that makes sense then. If that's like a normal handle solution in Korea, then I can see why they didn't put it in the instructions.
Too high tech for us.
Yeah, we didn't understand.
We got lucky, didn't we, that the taxis were so cheap and so easy to get, because we'd struggled to get taxis in Seoul on Kakao Taxi.
Yeah, but in Busan's super easy.
But Busan was a lot easier.
Yeah. So we spent our first night in this accommodation, and then the next day we were waiting for our friend Angelica, or Angie, who was joining us. So Angelica is our friend that we met on the BTS UK Army group, or I met her there. So shout out to anyone who's in that group. Yeah, Angelica met us on a group chat. We've met her a few times. She's come to London. She used to live here, moved back to Poland now. So she'd travelled from Poland separately from us, and then came to meet us in Busan, and stayed with us out there, which was really nice.
We ended up stumbling on this infinity pool set up in the hotel next door.
Yeah.
The most amazing photo shoot.
It did say in the ad for the Airbnb, it was like, oh, it has an infinity pool at the hotel next door that you can use if you want to pay 30,000 won per person. It's like £20. So it's not super cheap, that.
But the ad was like, accommodation with pool. And then in the small print, it was like, pool at the hotel next door that you can pay for.
Yeah. Yeah, we also had to get these like swimming shoes, and they were not too sexy. But we did the photo shoot nonetheless. They didn't mind us getting up on the edge, like the ledge of the infinity pool. So there were a lot of like contorted photos on there. There was like the ledge of the infinity pool, and then like a little gap, like a moat almost.
Great news though, none of us fell off.
No, exactly. Yeah, we were really good at that, not falling off. And then we went to meet Angie when she came to join us. She brought us some lovely presents.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, we had little
Starbucks
cups. We put them on our Instagram as well. I don't know if anyone would have seen, but they're Starbucks cups with like, I think she gets these like washable stickers. There were 2 JK ones for
the vocal line people.
Yeah, Angie and Natasha are both Jungkook stands, and then I got a Yoongi one, and Leanne got a Lovely RM one.
I did.
Leampp, sorry.
No. You heard that right, Leanne.
We'll tell you the story of Leampp in a minute. But yeah, so then after that, we went into the centre of Busan, didn't we?
We went to the culture village.
Oh, yeah, we did. Well, we went to the culture village. That was really beautiful. I'd recommend if anyone is going to Busan, go to the culture village because it was gorgeous.
And we met the little cat on the way. We got this beautiful video. He was really playful. So he was playing like with our skirts and my Hobie bag. And then at one point, Kristine's bag, and she had a little Shoki BT21. keyring on there. So we've got this like really cute video of a little meow meow playing with a little meow meow.
Yeah.
Oh, we were dead.
Yeah.
We were dead.
Yeah, it was very cute. We had some nice food there.
We did,
Some really cheap, nice food.
When we were looking for the bus stop at the Culture Village, there were like a family, I think they might have been American, a mum and a dad and like a teenage daughter. And like with the Mexican girls, you saw them again. I actually did see her again. I feel like it were in the album shop.
Yeah.
When we got to Busan, they had lit the bridge purple, and ultimately, once we got to Busan, it was lots of people in purple, lots of people with their merch out, lots of people going to the places that we were going to.
Yeah.
And they had the welcome army in the train station. It felt much more like we'd arrived at a place where we were meant to be as army.
Yeah. And then we went down to the city to go to this garden party event. It's a bit of a weird one because they had sold tickets to this garden party event at one of the hotels. The tickets had gone so quickly, so we weren't able to get any. But then a couple of days before, they said, oh, actually, we're going to reimburse everyone for their tickets and just make it like an open event. So we tried to go there, but then it was kind of just like they were playing episodes of Run on a big screen without subtitles. And it really wasn't that much fun.
It was a really good Run episode, admittedly. It was the ASMR one.
Yes, it was.
Which is really funny, but you could do with the subtitles.
Yeah, and then also, I think they had performances on earlier, and then people sang along and stuff, and that's what was on people's like Instagram reels and stuff. I saw a lot of that, but the event really wasn't all that much. Like you didn't miss out, really. That's what we're trying to say. Yeah, the purple trees were nice. But then, we went into Busan instead and got some street food, which was nice. So we tried all the street food. We tried all the street food.
In one night.
Yeah. We did not hold back. So we had the candied grapes. I had grapes. You guys had grapes and strawberries.
Yeah.
And then we had hot dog.
Yeah.
We had 2 sets of hot dogs, actually, because we got to this one place. Well, we already had hot dogs because I was like, I'm dying to try hot dogs because we had just watched the Cookie Run episode where they all talk about their favorite sweets, and Yoongi says that his favorite sweet is the hot dog, and that's what he made his kingdom from. And you tried the like fish bungupang, I did. The one that RM chooses. So that was cool.
And then we saw another hot dog stand that had a really long line and was super famous. So then we had to try those hot dogs as well.
Yeah.
And they were better than the first hot dogs, but in general, hot dogs very good.
They're like kind of like pancakes that they sort of deep fry, and then they put like some sort of sugar cinnamon mixture inside. Natasha couldn't have any because she's allergic to cinnamon. But you missed out. I'm sorry to say.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Not worth dying for, though.
No. Yeah, we had hot dog, and we had the spiral potato thing that JK has in his vlog episode.
Which is really good.
Really nice.
That comes with cheese dust.
It's kind of like cheesy snacks, but like a potato. And we had this weird like coin-shaped thing that had like some sort of condensed milk and then cheese in. I really liked it, but I'm a big fan of the milk sweets, so Leanne didn't like it as much. Yeah, sorry.
By this time, she was still Leanne. In Busan, she was her original form, but don't worry, it gets better. She improves, and now you can say, "Hi, I'm Leampp, and I've been at me for like 2 weeks."
No,
you've only been alive 2 weeks.
No, that's ridiculous. What else did we have?
I think we had some fried stuff, didn't we?
It's called kimmari, which is japchae noodles in seaweed, deep fried. And then there were like tempura. Did we have squid? And then prawns. And then we had like a huge chili that was stuffed with cheese. And then there were also one that looked, we all thought it was melon. And then when we asked him, he like just chuckled at us and we're like, no, it's pumpkin. And we were like, felt so stupid. And then in Korean, he started like joking to his mum, being like, they thought that were a melon.
Yeah, that was a foreign moment from us.
Did you have the rice tea?
Yeah, we had the rice punch key, I think they call it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
didn't like it.
Like,
we had corn dogs.
Oh, we had corn dogs.
Yeah,
We're in sugar. With sugar.
Normal, if you've ever been to Bun Chick in London, it's like that. So Korean corn dogs, you get them with like the corn stuff, but then sometimes they put like cheese and like sauces on it as well. But yeah, they sprinkle it in sugar there. You could get it without sugar, but we obviously wanted the authentic experience, so we got one with sugar. But yeah, it was all right. It was good. It was good.
The sausage out there was really good.
Yeah.
Whenever we had different sausage in all varieties.
No pun intended, guys. We're very angelic and pure. That was the end of the street food section. Do we all want to choose our favorite street food? I will choose the hot taco, although I think the candied fruit was like a close second.
I'm going to choose the potato spiral and the cheese.
I would have to go with the candied fruit, but then second would be like the spicy rice cakes that we got after the concert, but it's still street food, so it don't matter.
And then it was concert day.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. I've already done it.
You already did it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Concert day was exciting.
Well, should we talk about how we got the tickets, actually?
Yeah, we should talk about how we got the tickets.
Yeah. I don't know if we said on the podcast. I think maybe we did, but I'm not sure any of those episodes are out yet, where we talk about that we decided to go despite not getting tickets, or we decided to go before we knew whether we had tickets. So we didn't get tickets in the first raffle or any of the subsequent raffles. If you follow us on Instagram, you might have seen our beautifully designed Weverse ticket competition tickets. You had to just like put some stickers on a digital ticket, and then that was a contest that they did, but they only had 77 tickets. We didn't get tickets from Weverse or on Interpark. We tried on the general sale, but it was impossible. You couldn't even get into the website. Yeah,
we'd already had our flights before the raffle. Then we didn't win in the raffle, but we did manage to get into live play.
Yeah, we did. So that was the plan all along. So we were heading out there like 3 days before with no tickets, just live play.
Which we were okay about.
Yeah, obviously a lot of people were in that same situation. But then our friend Azelle, our lovely friend Azelle, a million shout outs for Azelle. What an absolute legend. She saw a post by BTS Army Unite UK on Instagram. I think it was an Instagram story where they asked, can UK Army who have booked flights out to Busan and have tickets for the live play, not the concert, email us on this email address? We saw that because Azelle sent it to me, and we were like, okay, well, let's email them.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be like a meetup or something, because the BTS Army Unite UK people, they organise the BTS club nights that we go to in London, so where they just play BTS music in like all night. They organise those, so we were like, oh, maybe it's a pre-party or an after-party. Yeah,
it was weird that they were like, oh, it's just for the live play people, but I thought maybe it was like a chaperones thing, or like maybe they were hoping to like find buddies to fly with for people who maybe were traveling out who were a bit younger, or that's sort of what I thought it was. And then they ended up emailing me back, and they said, we have a very small amount of tickets. We already had too many emails. We weren't allowed to tell anyone at that stage. So they just asked for all of our flight information, passport information, all sorts of details that we had to send over to them.
I went in with the big sale about the podcast. Yeah, so like in the email where you put it, I was like, and also we've got this podcast, here's our link, here's our YouTube, this is how many listeners we've had.
Yeah.
Like if you need any extra information about like how big an army we are, here it all is. We absolutely love them.
Yeah.
I was thinking like if she's going to have to decide, like if she's going to have to rank army, I want her to know that like we are like dedicated.
That's fair.
Talk about them all the time, have the podcast, like please, please, please.
And then she came back the next day and said, oh, I'll be happy to allocate you guys some tickets.
And we died.
We died. I was crying in my office.
I was crying at home.
I don't have a personal office. I have a very like open plan office. So it was a fun day in the office for me.
Jumping and screaming.
Yeah. Well, we did a group call from my office toilets, didn't we? Well, I was in my office toilets. You guys were maybe other places.
I was sat right here. Uni accommodation.
I was here, but I think I was in the kitchen when we had the call because I couldn't sit down after all of my jumping and screaming.
Yeah.
Crying.
So yeah, that was how that happened. We were very, very lucky. We managed to get 4 tickets, including one for Angelica. So yeah, we found out later that the tickets were given from Hybe to the Korean embassy in the UK to distribute as they please, from what we know, as in like they could invite dignitaries, whatever, if they wanted to, but they decided that they wanted them to go to UK Army who were willing to portray Busan in a nice way.
Just the crazy armies that had booked their flights without tickets to the concert.
But yeah, anyway, we got to the concert. It was like 11 a.m. we got there.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to queue up in this like massive long line that we didn't really know where it was going.
So it wasn't really going where we needed to be.
It was, but it was maybe like a bit of a detour. And it was really, really hot in Busan, much hotter than it was in Seoul. So we were a bit afraid of getting like sunstroke and things like that because we hadn't thought about like bringing water or sunscreen or anything like that.
We were like hungry, dehydrated, stood in this little line under the shadow of the boys every now and then.
Yeah. They had like big banners of them up.
And they had loads of free like little merch stalls and stuff.
Yeah, it was a bit like festival where they had loads of like tents in the walk up where the sponsors and stuff, like they had the xylitol and like the Chilsung cider and loads of like different partners of
the Cookie Kingdom
Hybe and the company, the Cookie Kingdom included. There was one that was like the army membership tent that Natasha and I went into, and then we managed to pick up our tickets. The way that they'd sort of organized it was that we had like ticket vouchers that you traded in for a ticket and a wristband. So even on the day you couldn't resell tickets because they put your wristband on you, you needed the ticket and the wristband to get into the concert. The tickets that we had weren't like linked to a specific seat, so they gave us tickets in exchange when we got there, so we all managed to sit together, which was nice.
We felt really lucky in that respect, right? Because we knew there was a lot of army, like when we met the Mexican girls and some of the others who were going to be separated or in different parts of the stadium, whereas the 4 of us were together. And
there was no way to go together with anyone if you'd gone in the raffle, right? Because you couldn't link your application to anyone. Which was a bit strange, but you know, that's how they wanted to do it. Loads of single armies.
Lots of individual armies. You can make friends with army, but army very easy to make friends with.
That's true.
And we weren't standing, we were seated.
And then we went to get some food after that. And we went to a place that was really appropriately called John Cook Sausage. Like, Cook sausage. Yeah, it was like JOAHN and then cook as in like cooking. They'd made like kielbasa Polish sausages.
Hilarious. That's what we want to get in. Natasha even asked if she could buy one of their hats.
Yeah. They wouldn't let us buy hats, which is sad. Yeah.
We just believed that everything was merch by that point.
And then we
can confirm John's cooked sausage was delicious.
Lovely, yeah. Good.
All 4 of us
Good
had
sausage.
our own individual
John Cook sausage. Yeah.
Good day.
Hats off to your banter, sir, Mr. John Cook. And then we went to eat it, and you got to talking to some Korean girls. They gave us this like little towel thing, and it was a Minyungi towel. So
in the little bunny ears.
Yeah.
They'd actually said my hair was really nice. So that was good. Oh, yeah. I went and got merch from the Dalmajang selection, that sort of thing. I got some little teacups, which are really cute, and then I got the cardigan, which has got like the green embroidered symbol on. That's really warm and fluffy. The merch was really well done at the concert. It was really well organised compared to the rest of the stadium, which felt just really chaotic. And we saw the rehearsal.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we saw there was a sound check. We didn't really see. There was a girl that had a camera, like a good camera, that she was able to like hold up and then zoom in, and we could see Jungkook through
1 centimeter JK
through her camera. Like we could see him, but we could hear them. We could hear them sing songs. But yeah, we should probably talk about that. Actually, it was quite unorganized.
The stadium, yes.
Yeah,
the stadium was really poorly organized.
So I don't know what people might have seen. They talked about not being able to go around on the cars at the concert because they were meant to come around. I think it was for Fire and Idol, maybe. Yeah, they were meant to come down and be on the backs of these like big trucks and then sort of come closer to all the people who were seated. They weren't able to do that.
They were trying to get to us.
Yeah, they were, and they couldn't. So first of all, when we got there, there weren't any stadium people working there, so that's why we'd had to get in this big line that we didn't really know where it was going. But yeah, that was a bit confusing. The food and drinks bit was fine. That was okay. And the toilets was good.
So maybe not the Interpack people. The people having to do the Interpack verification.
Oh, yeah.
Their line was like...
That line was massive.
Because of this sort of secret second line that had formed that people thought was the line, ultimately you came around a corner and it was very clear that that wasn't the line. There was just a horde of people trying to get down one staircase. Because you had to go down this staircase to do your ID verification. But the line that we'd been in was actually nowhere near that line. It was like the line to look at that line. So then, like, lots of people rushed forward to try and, like, get down this one staircase, which was just so small.
Yeah.
And then when you got down there, there was, like, just weaving lines of people who needed to get their ID verified.
Yeah, the Interpark line was massive. It was really long.
And this was, by then, it was, like, 1, 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So some of the standing people should have started being let in, but we heard from Maria that didn't happen.
Yeah, so we met this girl, Maria. She was a Filipino army. She'd been in standing. We met her after the concert. But yeah, she said, and on the schedule, this said this as well, that they were meant to start letting the standing section in at 2:30. But for whatever reason, they didn't end up starting to let them in until 4 p.m., which is when the rest of the stadium opened as well, which is when we went in. The stadium was sort of organized in a way that there was like the stage and then there were like 8 pens of standing people. So all the standing people had been allocated a pen and they were filling up the pen sort of slowly when we were in the stadium from sort of 4ish onwards. But then by the time it got to like 5:56, 2-3 of the back pens were still like had no people in,
and they were filling 1 pen at a time, so it was taking a lot of time. Like the G2 people couldn't come in until the G1 people had come in, and vice versa. So yeah, there was 3 back pens that barely had anyone.
Yeah, so we kept thinking like, there's no way that they're gonna fill them all up, and they're gonna delay the start of the concert, which is maybe what they should have done. But obviously, I think presumably because it was meant to be a concert to show off the facilities and organization skills of Busan. They didn't want to do that, and obviously sort of let the world know that they were unorganized.
Well, and you got the live stream, right? You got the live stream to millions of armies.
That obviously would have been how the rest of the world would have known about the delay if the delay was on the live stream. So,
and that's not on the boys, is it? That's on the stadium organisation.
No, absolutely not. No, they're not in charge of letting people into the stadium. But yeah, the organisation definitely could have been better. And for the last like 4 or 5 minutes and during most of mic drop and some of around BTS, people were just running into these like standing pens. And yeah, I feel sorry for the people who'd missed
the start of mic drop.
Yeah. But then also there were quite maybe like 150 people that didn't make it into a pen. So they sort of ended up standing. So there was the stage, the pens, and then quite a big like gap.
Like
kind of like a running track, yeah.
Where the trucks
in big stadiums. Go. But then some people ended up sort of standing not in the pens, but at the back in front of the stands, but not in the stands. So if they'd gone round on the trucks, then there would have been nothing between the trucks and these people. So obviously for safety reasons, they weren't able to do it, which was a real shame because even though we were like on the first tier of seated seats, we really couldn't see them.
We were really far back.
Yeah.
Because of the pens and then the place for the truck.
Yeah, the big gap. And then we were there. So we saw like little
centimetre
figures moving around, but we couldn't obviously see that it was them.
The screens were good.
The screens were pretty good, yeah. And the screens were cool. Like they were in the like proof logo. The other weird thing was that they had no concessions in the whole stadium. Like
nothing, no merch,
nothing.
No food.
They had army bombs and army bomb pairing stations, but there was no food, no water. I thought I was going to die from thirst. They also didn't check any, like, no security checks whatsoever. We went in, they literally were like, oh yeah, you've got a ticket, you've got a wristband, there you go. There were no like pat downs, no back check, no nothing.
And we didn't even bring any signs because we thought they'd take them off us.
Yeah, and they didn't scan our tickets. And then we asked, when we realized that there was no water to be purchased inside the stadium, we asked, can we go back out, buy some water and come back in because you've not scanned our tickets. So like technically there wouldn't be anything stopping you from seeing our tickets again. And they were like, no, you can't do that.
Too late, you're trapped.
Yeah, so that was really strange. I think maybe if we had left and come back in, like they couldn't have stopped us really, but like we obviously didn't want to risk it. Yeah, it was strange, and it was a bit weird because it was such a hot day, and you would have thought that at least like water should have been provided. So should we talk about the actual concert then? Obviously they started off with Mic Drop, which was, we talked a bit about what we thought they'd start on, and I think we all thought they'd start on Run BTS, which was obviously the next song. But yeah, Mic Drop, it was a good surprise. I like Mic Drop. Natasha hates Mic Drop, as we know from our Love Yourself tier episode. It was her skip. That is a stacked album though, so it's hard to find a skip. And yeah, it's glorious, isn't it?
Hobie looked amazing.
Yeah.
Blonde extensions.
Oh yeah.
They all looked banging.
He looked like a race car driver.
Check out our reel on Generation BTS _ that's currently got 20,000 views, and I think maybe like 2,000 likes. So if you'd like to add to that, please do. Give us a follow though, because most people aren't following us, which is really annoying me.
Yeah, Natasha's done a really good job on the reels. Yeah, all of the reels from the trip altogether, but especially from the concert, got like a lot of traction online. So we were really proud of that. So yeah, check those out if you haven't. Chances are you have, because they reach so many people. But yeah, and then after that, well, actually, let's talk a bit more about what they were wearing. So yeah, they were all in these like black outfits. Really, the only one I can remember is Yoongi's "The Earth is Flat," didn't you know that t-shirt? And then he had the like other t-shirt underneath, and then the bag of trousers with the chain. Yeah, I was into it. But yeah, any other outfits that stood out to you guys?
I did like J-Hope's like biker type outfit and his blonde streaks in his hair. They were really nice, and loved the surprise like switch up.
Yeah, Jimin had his
like silk velvety. It's like a velvet type material. One shirt and your jacket, and as we all know, once the choreo for Run BTS started for that shirt was like on its own mission. That shirt was basically going to fly over his head. There was a lot of back and a lot of abs. Like, it was.
I was also going to say that he had done his hair. He was a bit of an auburn ginger.
And Junie had just had a haircut. He had a haircut that day or the day before. So he had it was a bit shorter, a bit straighter. He looked delicious. Yeah, the black outfits were good. I mean, my best one of Junie was when he was in the pink long-sleeved shirt with the green design on it. In Dynamite, he had the jacket over it. Yeah. And then he took it off.
So I don't remember a lot of the songs, I don't think, because I was in such like a haze. Someone told me the other day, I was like, oh yeah, and then when they did Spring Day, and I was like, did they do Spring Day? But then I remember it now. I can tell you they did Mic Drop and Run BTS, and then there was the vocal line solos and the rap line solos, and then Dynamite and Butter, Yet to Come, and Spring Day
for
Youth, and the like Young Forever. But other than that, they did Save Me.
They did Idol, Fire, and Boy With Love. They did. Okay. And My City. They did My City.
Oh yeah.
And everyone popped off to that.
Yes. Yeah, and changed it from Ilsan to Busan.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Did they do Butterfly?
They did. Well, that was the vocal line and solo.
And then they finished it off with Yet to Come, which we had as clappers for, which no one actually clapped. I feel like everyone were like clapping during the concert, and then not back. It's like clap for the last bit, and I'm waiting for it, thinking that everyone else would, know what they were doing, and then it just ended, and I was like, oh, I didn't even clap it.
Yeah, it was hard. I think I tried, but you were meant to only clap for the like last chorus, and there were like certain words that you were meant to clap for, but like everyone just sort of gave up and like vibed instead, which was fine.
And when the boys were changing before the endments, even though they didn't do a Army Bomb Wave, part of the standing section started one, and it just went round and round and round and round, and we like on our own accord started singing Happy Birthday to Jimin, like while the boys were getting changed. That was really cool, because I was sad that they didn't do like an organised Army Bomb Wave, but we didn't need one. We'd had one.
Yeah, the Happy Birthday also they did again when he came
on.
He got a couple of birthday songs. So yeah, do we all want to pick a favorite concert moment / song?
So when the concert had just finished for like the next like 2 days, I think my favorite were the rap line solo, the
yeah.
I really liked that, and then from like watching the live streams after and watching all the things on Instagram and everything, I think looking back, my favourite were Run BTS.
Yeah, Run BTS was fun. Obviously, we'd not seen the choreo before, and it was like, I don't know whether people were expecting it to be like a little like simple, like the Dynamite and Butter choreo, but like also because they're only performing it once. Like it's not for a whole tour, but yeah, no, they didn't hold back. It was really good.
It was
yeah. I liked when J-Hope did his verse and he also says all their names and then they sort of pop out behind him. Yeah, that was cute. But yeah, I had a few teary moments. I can't remember exactly what songs that I teared up at. Spring Day.
You cried the whole time.
Yeah, I think I cried a lot. But like it wasn't like a stream of crying. It was like I got emotional and then I stopped and then I got emotional again and then I stopped, and it was like a wave up and down. But yeah, do you have a favorite song?
So I think my sort of, I was thinking about this today, I think my favorite sort of moment, and I told you girls about it at the time. So first off, I was absolutely mesmerized by the rap line solo. Kristine and I talked about it for days after.
Yeah.
Like obviously we're big rap line biases.
Yeah.
But like the sheer amount of just power, swag, and stage presence during that rap line solo, I felt like my mouth was just hanging open. Like none of the performances that I've ever seen online did it justice in that moment, just like the sheer magnetism. So I think I was absolutely like slapped across the face, dead on the rap line solo. But the moment that I keep going back to is the moment in 0 o'clock. So where there's the line, and you're going to be happy. And there's the line in English. I love 0 o'clock anyway, and I think it's a really beautiful song. It's got really that line about and you're going to be happy always resonates me whenever I hear it, because I never really get told that in songs. It's always about how we find happiness or how you find happiness, whereas this is very directive. So when they were playing that, I had my army bomb like in both my hands and I was holding it really close to my chest and I was just shutting my eyes and I was like, just take this moment, just remember like how like happy you are in this moment and just put it in your brain so you can come back to it at any time. So I think that was my highlight.
Oh, that's nice.
Other than the rap line solo, which was obviously just mesmerising, but that moment really sticks with me. So I guess actually in that instance, vocal line did really well, but I don't know if it is vocal line. I think it's the lyrics. What about you?
Someone asked me right after, like, what was your favorite song? And I was like, rap line solo, 100%. Like, I can't pick between the two, but when they did, that was good because I don't think they've been able to perform that yet, except for the Map of the Soul one. They've not performed it with an audience, so that was really cool. I felt really privileged to be there. But then when they went into the Cypher, we haven't done Dark and Wild yet, which is where Cypher 3 Killer is on. But when we've done a lot of the older albums, I've had this like big sensation of sort of, I'm never going to get to see these songs. They're never going to play when we did like, especially with the Cypher medley, when we did the Cypher medley for Wings, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, it would be so magical to be able to see one of these ciphers, and I'm probably never going to get that chance. So then when they started doing the Cypher, so the Cypher is on Proof. It was one of Yoongi's picks. When they sort of started performing that, I was like, oh my God, there's a Cypher. I'm going to get to see a Cypher. And that's when I was really emotional as well. And we said to Lorraine, who was the girl from BTS UK Army Unite, who got us the tickets, she was like, oh, I never in my lifetime thought I'd see a Cypher. And I was like, same, no, me neither. So I had that big moment with the Cypher, and that was really nice. And yeah, obviously I didn't see this at the time because it was too far away. But there's the moment where Yoongi says his line about, you know, as you know, my voice turns people on, both men and women. And then he does this little like hip thrust thing. And yeah, that's yeah, 100%. The other moment that really stands out was that when they did Spring Day, although I'd sort of blacked out that they even did it. But when I think back and I remember now that they did Spring Day, it was at the end of the first chorus. In the recorded version, they don't do this, but in the performance version, and maybe in the music video, they do that, yeah, that bit. after the first chorus, and I was like, oh my god, no, they're going to do some sort of weird short version where they cut straight from like the first chorus to the like bridge, and we're not going to get the like you and Min back and forth bit, which is like, I love that section. It's the most beautiful section in the whole Spring Day, sorry. And then they sort of stopped doing the OOs, and then they went into youngest rap with the Germans respond, and I was like, oh no, thank god, they did it. Okay. Yeah,
just constant fear.
Yeah.
And then relief, and then fear, and then relief.
Yeah, that was really good. So I remember that section.
Yeah, I think Young Forever was really special, because again, we've not done that album, but I know that the sort of meaning behind the song is like them wanting to stay young forever, but within that being young, it's stay performers, right? Stay performers, stay idols, stay in that moment, stay being loved, and that's what the song's about. So
yeah,
and then there's the Wembley, like how special it was at Wembley. So it felt like a really special moment, and then like singing along, feeling like, yeah, this is it. I need to stay in these moments. This is where like true actualization and true happiness is, and you need to just take all of this in. And then the sense that they also wanted to stay.
Yeah, so they play the end of the like epilogue Young Forever with the audience singing at the start of For Youth. So obviously they did epilogue Young Forever and then sort of went straight into For Youth, and it sort of fit really well that way because of the way that the song is recorded. So that was nice as well.
Yeah, it was just really beautiful. It was such a good concert.
Yeah, it was such a good concert. The only thing was, when it was after they'd gone and been on for like an hour and a half, said something, and then everyone went like, oh, and I was like, oh my god, no, he said that it was about to be the end now. And obviously we know that from BTS concerts that after he says that there's quite a lot more to go. So I think normally it would have been fine, but obviously because it was like a shortened concert, I was like, oh no, it's actually the end. But it felt like they'd been on for like 5 minutes.
Like literally they just arrived. Yeah. You said because we knew it was a hour 30 set, and it started at 6, and then they'd done this big and I was like, no, this is wrong. And then like looked at the clock and it was like 7:15. I was like, no, it's not wrong. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
They're gonna leave. It was just so many emotions.
I know. And I sort of prepared for that. But yeah, and then they all came out in their Yet to Come hoodies. We haven't talked about the weird Hyundai robot dogs.
Oh yeah,
that was a weird thing. That took up
too much time.
I thought they went off to. I presumed it was to change, but it wasn't really. They came back in the same black outfits after that. But then, yeah, we had this big ad about Hyundai and their robot dogs, and the boys were in the ad. But I'm like, I don't care about this. Please just come and do some more songs. But yeah.
One thing that did get annoying is like as concert started, and obviously we saw everyone running in, and it like not everyone being there. Me and Leampp noticed that there were a spare seat behind us.
Oh yeah.
A girl that was sat next to it just put a bag on it, and we were like, oh, that is so annoying. Obviously, Leanne and Kristine had met these Mexican army that like one didn't get a place there, and we were like, this is so annoying because we know someone would have really enjoyed that seat. And then also we kind of thought that our section were like tickets that had been given to people that might have been big on social media or like something like that, similar to us, like an embassy had given them it for their country. And there were a girl in front of us that were like from Indonesia, and we got talking to her. She were really nice, but like she brought her like boyfriend, and he literally took a video, sent it in his like WhatsApp group chat, and then just
sat down.
Yeah, he wasn't jamming along. He was just like, he was there to just support her, which were kind of also another annoying thing. And then another thing that really did start to annoy me, well, it got to like last song, and like I know from when me and my dad used to go to like a football match, if like Barnsley were losing, you'd go like 15 minutes early, so then you'd beat all crowds. Like they're clearly not going to come back in this last 15 minutes. Like everyone started doing that. There were a lot of people in like standing that started leaving, and we were like, what are these people doing? Like they've rushed in, come in late, and now people are just like leaving 15 minutes early, like, oh, well, beat the crowd. And it's like, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, and you leave it. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it was frustrating.
it
It was hard thinking about a lot of the other army who weren't
yeah
there and how many army would have wanted to be there. And
yeah
we had people behind us who, like, at one point were like, we'd stood up because even though it was seated, we'd stood up when the boys came on. And then at one point they were like,
I think
they
there
did
was
the
one
sit
point
down
where
gesture, and I was like, you've got no chance in hell.
it was one of the early songs where one of them went like, oh, everybody stand up, and we were like, yeah, great, we get to stand up. And then like these people behind us were like, oh, sit down. And we're like,
No,
absolutely
you've got no
not.
chance.
No.
Aaron wants this to be a festival, so we're going to have a festival.
He really wanted it to be a festival. He put that on viewers the day before, didn't he? Yeah, and that guy in front of us, he was like checking the football scores at one point. I saw him.
I don't think this is going to make you super jazzed. You're going to be really irritated now. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, true.
But some people there who weren't loving it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you said about football games, right? Like I have that when I work at the stadium. Obviously, people will leave early, even if we're winning. But you go to the football every weekend, but it's the season ticket holders that come every week. They will leave early to sort of beat the crowd. So I can understand that. But this, I don't understand that at all.
It's so meaningful.
It's so dumb. I think people just do won tickets in this raffle, like a 1 in a million chance. I obviously don't know how many people entered the raffle, but I know that there were meant to be 100,000 tickets, and there were like 52,000 in the end.
Much less because of the venue change. We met some Russian armies outside who didn't have tickets, and they all just sat there outside watching through the little like gates and stuff. So yeah, those people,
really,
like,
really sad.
When we were in the line, it was like we'd spoken to them that there was like at least like 20, 30 people who brought like little camping chairs to just sit outside the stadium so they could hear it. But we'd heard it during sound check, right? You could barely hear any. You could pick up on what the songs were, but you couldn't really hear it.
No. Anyway, yeah, I think we're looking at the set list. There is any songs we have not talked about. There was Run, as in like not Run top. BTS, but Run actual Dashi Run. Yeah, it was a good surprise.
And the way you felt about the cypher is sort of a bit how I felt about Dope, an Idol. So Kristine doesn't like to see the set list in advance, but we saw the set list after the rehearsal, and then I was like sneakily trying to do my homework, so I put on like the playlist. And then she'd be like, why have you replayed My City? And I was like, no reason, I just love it. And then I was like, I really want to just listen to all of these songs so that I'm going to know them, but I couldn't. So yeah, I definitely felt like that. I felt like we'd looked out on getting like a compilation concert, because I felt like there was lots of things that we were so lucky to see that you just won't see again.
Yeah, the Dope and Fire, they did those at Permission to Dance, so I was fairly confident that if it was going to be, I'd sort of seen that people were expecting it to be like a run through of Proof, obviously not with all the songs on Proof, but like a take you through their journey type of
Well, we thought we'd get No More Dream, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe.
But like one of those early school era ones. And then, like, on the people that were leaving early, like, even after it had finished, we were still just absolutely gobsmacked. Like, we didn't want to move. Everyone was starting to leave. And I was like, we can go down into standing. Like, let's, like, go, like, look at the school bus, like, on the stage. And then we picked up in the pens, there was some of the confetti, like, left over, because obviously the confetti didn't reach us in standing. So we'd all, like, gone down together and, like, got, like, little handfuls of confetti. And the lady was like, you've got to leave. And we were like, lady, look, I want to live here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the happiest place I've ever been in my life. And you want me to just leave? They're breathing this air. They're breathing the air that I am breathing.
Yeah.
And you want me to just walk out? No, lady, you could wait. We will go at our own pace.
Yeah. So yeah, that was tough. Yeah, we did make it out. We had some more street food.
We got the Busan like graphic tees.
Yes, we did. We also went to the merch store and picked up some tees. I wanted the Yet to Come hoodie, the purple one that Leanne had already got. It was after the boys had all worn it that I was like, no, I need this hoodie as well. But they didn't have any, so we got the tees instead, which were nice.
They're cool.
It were actually quite surprising that it were like nearly 8-9 o'clock when we went for the t-shirts. They'd managed to actually like keep stuff from 9 a.m. to like almost like 9 p.m. It was limited, but they still had like main stuff like t-shirts, army bomb key rings, and like good stuff to actually be like, this is a BTS Busan merch.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the day of the concert. I know actually after the concert we had a bit of a fun happening as well because, well, Natasha was tired, so she went home. But we, Leampp, me and Angie, we went down to the like center of Busan and we went for some chicken and beer. We saw this like big fight with the
big K-drama.
Yeah, it was kind of like a K-drama. It was like there were this group of guys at one table, this guy and a girl on the next table. They hadn't interacted at all, and all of a sudden like 3 other guys go up to smoke and then come back to the table with the guy and the girl and sort of like start talking to them in quite an aggressive way. And then they all got up. The girl gets up and like flips one of the guys off and then gives him like the double finger.
Yeah, the double flipping off. And she's like waving them around. No.
And then this one guy, right, this like one kind of small guy, small but kind of stocky, he sort of tried to run at her like two or three times. And like,
she's really little.
Yeah. His friends had to like hold him back. It was very dramatic. So we watched that for a while and then they headed up to the beach, so we sort of followed them, not in a weird way, but we just wanted to see what was going to go down.
Yeah, well, and I wanted to go to the beach anyway, like maybe putting my feet in the ocean and being at the beach and like rounding it off as a perfect day, which it didn't end up rounding off as, because then we met your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Future mother-in-law to be.
Yeah, so we were all like dipping our toes in the sea, and then this older lady, she wasn't that old, she was like probably like 50s maybe, she came up to us and was like, "Oh, are you guys army?" And we were like, "Yeah." And she was like a Korean lady. And then she was telling us about how she'd gone to the live play because her friend had got a ticket in the raffle, but she hadn't. So they'd both gone to the live play.
They'd gone to the live play at the beach. So we were on Hyundai Beach, which is the one where Tay took his pictures.
Yeah. So yeah, we met with her and then we talked to her for a bit and like talked about where we were from and stuff. And then all of a sudden she was like, "Oh, do you have a boyfriend?" I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, I've got a son. He's 25. She definitely thought that I'd said 25 when I said 29, I think. But anyway, he was 25. He'd already been to the military and like
he was super eligible.
He was handsome. He told us he was handsome.
And he had a good attitude.
He had a good attitude, yeah. And she was like looking to set him up with me, and I was like all for that, obviously. I was keen, and she really wanted like she said she had a daughter, but she wasn't a BTS fan. She really wanted like a daughter-in-law who was a BTS fan. So we ended up going to have some more drinks with her and her.
Well, she tried to FaceTime the son.
Yeah,
like, it's weird. Now like 2 a.m.
Yeah, 2, 3 a.m.
Tried to FaceTime him. Obviously, he's not impressed, and she's like, "Please."
Well, she called him first, and she was like, "Oh, well," she said something in Korean, and then all of a sudden she goes like, "Do you want to talk to her in English?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so embarrassing." And he said no. He was asleep, and then he hung up. She tried to FaceTime him again. Obviously, he didn't pick up. But then
we went to a little BTS bar, ordered BTS cocktails.
Yeah, they played the BTS songs.
Talked about life, and it was really great. It was about 5 a.m. when we tried to get a taxi back,
and
we only left because the bar closed.
Kakao Talk was down that day, so we really couldn't get a taxi. Yeah, Kakao Taxi wasn't working, and it was like a big deal. We realized after the CEO ended up resigning and stuff over it. So yeah, it was a big deal. But at least we had a fun night with these 2 older army ladies. Yeah, so that was good. And then the next day we had booked the after party. So we went on this little like cable car ride
beautiful.
First, and that was nice. It was this like colorful cable car that went down the coast of Busan. And then we went to get some food, and that was maybe one of the worst decisions that we did food wise, because we had some Korean barbecue and that was okay, but then we
really wanted to try seafood.
We wanted to try some seafood, yeah. So we went to a seafood place, like a place where they had like lobsters in these like tank things outside. And then the lobster turned out to be super expensive, like £140. We didn't get that. But when we ended up like trying to say to the guy that we'd already eaten a bit, where we just wanted to try some of the seafood, and he was like, "Oh, you should get the sashimi and this like big plate of assorted shellfish." And then he brings out these like massive trays of sashimi and raw shellfish. Everything was completely raw. The squid was so raw that it was still crawling. It wasn't like a whole live squid. It was chopped up, but the tentacles were still like worming around.
Yeah, so like out of the huge plate that would go. That was the like one thing that I'd seen other people eat and were like, it's actually really nice. But I'd heard people be like, you need to really like properly chew it, I don't know, 50 times because like the suckers will actually like, they can get stuck to your throat and you can like choke and stuff like that. And I was probably like panicking, but then once I'd actually tried it, it wasn't that like wriggly in your mouth. If you got like the bigger sucker pieces, you could kind of feel it sucking on your tongue, but it wasn't like as aggressive as people had like said. But the other things that we had were like abalone, which actually ended up being really nice. That was like my favourite. It had a bit of a hard texture, but that were nice. And then
the scallops.
Yeah, the scallops, which I picked the scallop up and it like sucked itself on, so it like really scared me that like the thing on the shell moved.
Yeah, it just wasn't what we were used to. I'm sure it's like perfectly normal and safe and everything there, but it just wasn't really what we'd expected or what we were after. We ended up trying most of it.
Tried a lot of the sushi.
Yeah, but obviously we'd already eaten, so we didn't really end up finishing. Like the portions were massive. The guy had said like, oh yeah, this is suitable for 4 people, but it was enough food for like 10 people. Yeah, what can you do? At least we tried it.
And if you really, really like raw fish, then Busan's the place.
It's the place for you.
And it was fresh.
The annoying thing though is it ended up being as expensive as the lobster.
Yeah, it was really expensive.
These 2 free plates of the raw stuff. So yeah, that was a mishap. But then we went to the after party.
One at Lotte World.
The Lotte World after party. That was good. Got there quite late. But
the DJ was banging.
The DJ was really good. Yeah, he was mixing it up and everything.
And he was handsome.
He was.
And good pyro.
Yeah. The DJ was on for a bit and then they played a few like performance videos and stuff, and that was nice. The outro bit was like Spring Day, then Magic Shop, then Microcosmos, and we were like, oh no, stop it. Cheers.
You nailed the playlist.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. And then we got our photos with the Tiny Town dolls on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
we came back
and then we watched the whole concert. That was on the completely legal stream. I'd had a news of a death in my family that day, so I was quite upset and sort of emotional. But I remember that we watched the concert and there was a bit where they all like talked. I think it was during the endments, but Yoongi said something about like, oh, when people have a tough time, I hope they can sort of return to this moment and sort of feel happy and remember the sort of joy that we shared together in this moment. So that became very sort of meaningful for me in that moment when we watched it back. I was like, yeah, I will remember that. So yeah, that was nice. And then the next day we went back to Seoul. This was on the Monday. So on our way to Seoul was when we got the notification from Weavers to say that the boys would be starting their military enlistment. I think if you listen to our proof episode, we were sort of prepared for that coming. There had been speculation for a while, and obviously we saw the notice said that they'll reconvene as a band in 2025, which obviously feels really long, really far away. So that was a bit of a tough train ride back. But I think
we didn't cry though.
No.
I mean, the problem was we'd already cried all the tears at proof, and then Festa. We were absolutely broken after the Festa dinner.
Yeah.
And then we were assured thereafter, but I think we'd already grieved it.
Yeah. And I think it was good of them to sort of do it in that way. So in retrospect, they could have just put up a statement of like, oh, we're going to go to the military, see you in 2025 sort of thing. But obviously they made it sort of, we knew that natural break was going to come, even though they didn't talk about that specifically in the Festa dinner. But then it obviously felt like they sort of needed a break as well. And obviously they talked about the positives of them getting to explore their own solo work and that way. So I think they sort of already managed our expectations in terms of the like OT7 work wasn't going to happen for a while. So I think we sort of went in prepared for that. And then obviously they got to make the announcement about military service on their own terms, because obviously there was a lot of speculation around the time that they might be exempt. There was talk of a referendum in South Korea about whether or not they should change the law so that they would be exempt, etc., etc. So I think it might have been that they'd by that time had communications from the government to say that the exemption's not going to come through.
And it's really high risk to do a referendum, isn't it? Because if it doesn't, like, we know for a while they've not spoken about it. They've never said that they want an exemption or they don't want to enlist.
Yeah, they always said that they'd be honoured to do it when the time comes.
So I think for them to then put it to a referendum, if it comes back even at 60-40, there's no good percentage, right? There's like, well, 40% of people think we should go and relive that honour.
Well, the referendum wouldn't come from Hype or Big Hit. The referendum would need to come from the government and say, do we think that idols who have reached X level of success should be exempt from military service? And you'd need to make that level of success a level that BTS have already achieved, right? Like,
I think it's just a really difficult one, because it could have gone either way, right? And then if it goes in the vote of they have to go, then it looks like they've been forced to go.
Yeah.
And then the fans wouldn't be happy.
But what I'm trying to say is the vote wouldn't be, do we go or do we not go? The vote would be on the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even within that, you'd know what the ramifications are. Like, people would know it would be about them.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it would be for anyone who comes after them as well. Yeah, if some of the other K-pop bands, and I think obviously they have sort of paved the way, as we like to say. So I think it's feasible that bands after them will achieve success levels abroad that are similar. But then obviously a precedent like that would have affected those after as well. But I mean, in the end, obviously they've announced that they're going to go now, and it's on their own terms, and hopefully it's what they want or what they feel that they should do. And we'll look forward to obviously seeing the solo work between now and then, and the when they reconvene in 2025.
I'm excited to see Shave Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So after having had that announcement, we decided that the good thing to do would be to go to the old Big Hit building when we got back to Seoul. So we did that.
Where it all started.
Yeah. So in Nonhyundong, you can go to the old Big Hit building. It's like a big wall, and you can write on it. Well, people have write. I don't know whether it's sort of fully allowed.
We did write on it.
People write on it. There were loads of like messages from all over the world. Yeah, because there was not a lot of like clear space on the wall, so we ended up having to lift up Natasha to write something. And what did you write, Natasha?
I put, "We will wait at Generation BTS _."
Yeah. So everyone will know that we will wait.
The three of us are going to wait until 2025.
Yeah, and feel free to join us in the waiting. But yeah, no, and then we all put like little personalized messages as well. Do you guys want to share any of your other messages?
You sure?
I put Jungkook's sausage. And I have been trying to find us "We Will Wait" in everybody else's videos I see on Instagram, but so far I can't see any. But I think they're all before, so it's like, go back and just show us, you know?
Yeah, we met quite a lot of other armies on there. I wrote something like Norway army, because there were a lot of people, different like messages from around the world where people had put their countries. There was one big Kazakhstan one, I remember that one.
Tiamo, J-Hope.
Yeah.
That was massive.
Yeah.
And a massive Marry Me Youngie.
Yeah. So yeah, I put something about Norway, and then I put something like, I put something more hurtful than that. But yeah, I can't remember what it was right now. I have it in a video.
Yeah, we drew the little United Kingdom flag and like coloured it in. And then I wrote some of the "We Are Bulletproof" Eternal lyrics there. We were only 7, but now we have you. That's what we did. But the main one we did is the "We Will Wait." We were like one of the first or second people to put up the "We Will Wait" message.
I also put "I signed the NDA."
Oh, actually, and I also put Kim Namjoon "Start a Country." We were there for a while, actually, weren't we?
Yeah. And no, I think I put something like "Thank you for your music" or something like that. And then I also think I put something about how when I'm sad, I'll think about the Busan concert, which was nice.
Then we went around the corner, and outside the dorms, Kristine and I recreated some of the shots from the telepathy episode. So the ones where like Jimmy and Tae and Jin It's got to be Jin, because there's Jin and then RM comes. So yeah, Tae and Jin, where Jimin runs up the hill and then they do the big hug. And then we reposed under the sort of archway where they stand, and you were Jin and I was RM.
Yeah.
And that felt really special. Like, it was really dark and late, so the videos aren't the best quality, but it felt really cool to be like standing where they've stood.
Yeah, and then we went to have food. We went to this where there were trainees a lot. So we went there to have food. It was packed, obviously, so we had to queue for a bit. But yeah, when we got in, it was like wall to wall,
floor to ceiling
merch and posters and stickers and everything.
Stickers on the water.
Yeah.
Stickers on the condiment holder.
Yeah.
Stickers on the chair.
Yeah. Every surface was covered in merch. So yeah, that was really cool. And they had some signatures on the walls, although I didn't really know which one was which. And I think the last thing that we need to talk about that we did that was BTS related in Seoul was we went to the proof exhibit at Hype. Yeah,
that's really cool.
You weren't really allowed to take any photos or videos except for in the first room, which is where they had the like proof laser posters. The rest of it was like there were a lot of the outfits that they'd worn in different videos and in different like stages. Loads of pictures and performance videos from all the different eras.
The messages that they'd written.
Yeah.
Individual messages and lyrics that they'd written on the mirrors.
Yeah, they'd all picked out some lyrics and like put messages. Obviously, we didn't know what the messages said, but
you did really well on the Hangul, actually. You told me, like, Hobie's one. This Hobie one is the lyrics from Boy With Love. And then I was like, oh, of course it is.
I think it was
Hobie always wants to keep me safe.
It's because it said no way, no way, no way. And I was like, it has to be that. But I did recognize a few of the Hangul. A few of them were from Spring Day and a few of them were from Born Singer, I think. Yeah, there was...
They had that whole room of pictures, floor to ceiling.
Yeah,
they literally loved the floor to ceiling. With the earrings and then the pictures and then the stickers, floor to ceiling everywhere.
I did like the room where it were like every single wall were like a video playing or like concert clips, and then I think there were just like a voiceover, just RM talking about like the concert and just like his ending part of the concerts, which I really liked. And everyone, like, as soon as you like looked around, everyone were crying.
Yeah,
you were crying then.
Yeah, I was crying
because you sort of come into the last room and then you see the endments. It's a big open space as well, so there's just one big visual. I really liked when you were we were watching the eras and you were interacting with the screen, trying to eat them. That was Natasha. We were being really silly. Kristine wasn't as impressed, but we thought it was hilarious.
Also, the like room with like every single dance practice that they've ever done, like on all the TVs, that were like a good one. But it were like, I think we just got his like photo card, which were a disappointment. You go through like these little like boomerangs or like tossing a coin or whatever.
I don't think they have boomerang. They're the short clips, where they're holding the bullets. So they got the bullets like down there, and then they like look up and they're like giving you the come to bed with me eyes.
What the hell?
I was like, what is occurring here? Why are you doing this? Like, I'm in a public place, but I need to watch them all, and then I need to watch them again. Yeah, I really liked that. I really liked the videos on Loop.
It were at that point that like one of the staff members were like, "You've got 30 minutes left," and that's including shop. And it's like, I felt like it was just so rushed. Like, there's so much to see and so much to like look at. And obviously, because you can't just look on Instagram and see it on a video that someone's posted or see clips of it, you wanted to take every little detail in that you ever saw. So like, with people constantly be like, you've got 30 minutes left, you've got 5 minutes left, and then you get into the shop and they're like, you need to go to till now, or else we're gonna kick you out, you need to go, but by the way, you need to check all your albums and everything that you buy because you can't return it, and if it's faulty, that's on you. Like, it were a lot. It were just so like...
it was a little stressful. The staff were really on there reminding you about the time, but obviously, like Natasha said, we just wanted to take it all in. So yeah, an hour and a half didn't really feel like long enough, but obviously they want as many people to visit as possible. And then we got to the merch. The merch was a little disappointing.
The merch was really limited.
Yeah, it was a lot of like high tote bags and stuff. I don't want this.
Music, insight for life.
A lot of other other brands as well. And I'm like, fine. But yeah, I was there for the proof exhibit, so I wanted BTS stuff. I got like a holo photo card of Yoongi and like one of the Lucky Dip photo card bags. I got a Jin and a Hobie. But it was nice because you could trade with people by the end because they made you open everything before you went out, like Natasha said. And they were very particular about like making sure you got the right thing. I remember the girl at the till for me was like, yeah, I'm just checking that you got the right member. This is sugar. And I was like, yeah, that's the one I wanted. She was like, okay, great. You have to open it now, return it today. Yeah, all the Big Hits merch was like that. They told you all of your rights right there and then.
At the top, yeah.
Yeah.
They should have had like a CD player so that you can play CD. That's literally the only thing that you'd actually check, see if it works, which is also the only thing that I'd disregard. Like, just chuck it away. I want the pictures in it.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, good trip to the Hybe Museum. We also went to this really cool cafe. I'm not going to go into it loads, but before we went to the exhibit, there was this cafe that we happened upon. It was called Superstar Tteokbokki, I think. And they had loads of like performances on, loads of posters everywhere. There was like stuff up for Jimin's birthday, and then you could buy this like meal package that came with like some Jimin photo cards and stuff, and we could tag them in our Instagram. And then they gave us an extra like hologram photo card, and that was really cool. So I would recommend to anyone who goes to visit Hybe, even if it's not for the proof exhibit, go to this Superstar Tteokbokki. We've put their address in one of our reels, I think, on our Instagram page. The last thing that we did that was BTS related, actually, was we went down to the Olympic Stadium, which had the boys' handprints outside. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got to put our hands in their little handprints.
And we realised that actually Kristine and I are Vimin, in that my hand's the same as Tae's and your hand's the same size as Jimin's, so we've got this really cute comparison. Turns out I've got massive man hands and You've got tiny baby hands.
I do, I knew that already. Yeah, no, we did that was good.
And then we took the pictures.
Yeah, so when I think it's on Jin's Instagram, he's put up some pictures where he says, these people always photobomb me, and it's like him with JK, RM and Jimin from the Telepathy episode of Run BTS where they went around to the stadium. So we all sort of stood where they stood and took the photo in the same way. Again, it was dark when we took it, so not quite the same, but you get the idea.
It was great. We were living our best BTS lives.
We were. Our most nerdy lives.
Yeah, real highlight.
The Blackpink girls were there as well, right?
No.
Twice. You can see the twice handprints. And IU.
Was there, yeah. IU
tiny.
Smaller than mine.
2 members of Big Bang. There's 2 like good members of Big Bang.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was good. Yeah, so we saw some handprints. Anything final that we want to say about the trip? I think we should probably end on the story of Leampp. But
yeah, let's end on that.
The only big thing that we did otherwise, but it's not BTS related, was we rented the hanbok.
Yeah, we rented the hanbok.
Yeah.
Went to the palace and pretended we were in all Korea. It was really great. We really liked having the hanbok. And we drank tea, really fancy tea in this really fancy restaurant. It was great. I
was a bit nervous about it because I didn't think that it was something that was the right to do. But I checked with my Korean friend and she said that it's like an honor to have people wear the hanbok, and obviously you get into the palace for free if you wear it.
Lots of people said we looked really beautiful.
Yeah.
And we did.
A lot of these schoolgirls came to take their photos with us, which we're not sure if that was like a school challenge or if it was just that they were keen. But yeah, we had photos taken with lots of different people. So that was cool. That was good.
I think final thoughts on sort of Korea, because it felt really safe, quiet and peaceful, like the way you were sort of wandering around, and then really well balanced. The food was really great. A lot of the accommodation we stayed at was really great. So I think overall it was just such a brilliant trip. It was the best trip.
Yeah, it really was. We all sort of said that we wanted to give it 10 out of 10 after, except Tasha wanted to give it 12 out of 10, she said. So yeah, we had an excellent time. Thank you very much to Korea. And we'll end on the story of Leampp, because we've been making this joke for the entire podcast. So essentially we went to this, it was a club called Pumpkin. It was in Itaewon. And we met this guy called Kiwon. If you're listening, Kiwon.
You've got a bad attitude.
Yeah. Shout out to Kiwon. But yeah, anyway, he was handsome, but he was not the best. So he
was the best at the start.
Well, I don't remember any interaction with him, except for when he wasn't the best. because I was a little inebriated by then.
Kristine was wasted.
Yeah, well, someone had bought me like 8 tequila shots, so don't at me. So yeah, we were trying to leave the club.
Well, the club had closed.
Yeah, the club had closed.
It was 5 a.m.
And this guy wanted to take us to another club in Hongdae.
This guy wanted to take Kristine to another club. We were also invited, but soon got the idea that we were unwanted.
So we were waiting outside the club for a taxi. He really wants to spend some time alone with Kristine, but Kristine is basically asleep in the back of this cab. She's out of it, and we're not going to leave her alone in another country, no matter how handsome. And then he was like, let Kristine speak her own mind. And at that point, we were in the car talking, and he was like, oh, what are your names? He'd asked. Natasha had said Natasha, and he was like, oh, Natasha. And I was like, Leanne. And he was like, oh, Leampp. What a great name. And I was like, Leampp? No, it's Leanne. Leanne. And then that was it. Natasha had heard it, and she was like, Leampp.
He couldn't figure out the name Leanne. He was like, Leampp. Yeah, Leampp.
Yeah.
Leampp. Yeah, that's what I said, Leanne.
I was like, that's not my name. He took us back to Ituan, but on the journey back to Ituan, he was really laying into us, like, oh, why won't you leave me alone with her? It's because you're so jealous. Yeah. Natasha and Leampp, you're just so jealous of Kristine. I meet girls like you all the time that are just jealous. And then we got out, and then Kristine realised he actually had a bad attitude. Mm-hmm. So told him to fuck off, in her own words. And then that finished it. And then you'd think we'd just go to bed and we'd wake up the next day and it'd be like a really fun drunk story. But no. Natasha wakes up the next day and she's like, I'm going to call you Leampp forever. And I'm like, no, I hate it. I hate the name so much. And obviously the more I protest, the more the girls think that it's the most hilarious thing they've ever heard of.
It's really funny, Leampp. I'm not gonna
lie. I think best part about it were like, so the girl that we went with, Angie, she was like leaving a day earlier than us, so she didn't want to go on a night out with us because she didn't want to wake up late the next morning like we did. So the next morning we're telling Angie this, and these two had like not even realised that he'd called her Leampp, and I'd reminded them, being like, Leampp, and they were like, oh my god. And that were it. It just carried on and on and on. We'd literally go to bed and then just all be giggling so hard because we just couldn't get over this Leampp and how jealous she was and how much like, yeah.
To be clear, I'm not jealous or negative. I was trying to save my friend. You know, you can't go along with a random Korean man in a random country on your own.
No. I think by the time Wade, as sort of asleep as I was, I remember when he started being like, you guys are just jealous. I was like, oh no, this guy's not the one. That's when I sort of realised that he had a bad attitude. But obviously we got a special gift from Q1, which was the name Leampp.
I did not. I've got the worst gift ever from that Korea trip. I want to pretend it doesn't irritate me because I know the more that I show my irritation, the more eager you're going to be to do it. But I just can't. It's so dumb. Yeah. Sorry for any listeners that are called Leampp.
We got someone to turn up at the airport when we got back with a Leampp sign. But yeah, apologies if there were loads of in-jokes about jealousy and Leampp in the early parts of the podcast that you didn't get, but now you get it. So you listen again and then you'll be laughing along like
and then in all the next episodes, whenever it comes up, you'll be like
I know, fucking Q1, legend.
Those generation BTS girls, I wish I was friends with them.
Yeah, they're so funny and not jealous. And one's called Leampp.
So another thing, when we go back to Heathrow, Leampp got stuck in queue because obviously on the passport it said Leanne Dodson and it was clearly incorrect. So they literally had to keep her at border for like a good hour just to figure out this like name change, like identity crisis that she'd had in Korea. Because she was so jealous, it just held us up so much in airport.
Yeah. They're like, you clearly, your name is not Leanne, it's Leampp, like for sure. No, we're not putting you through immigration because it's not Leanne. You have the vibe of a Leampp. Like
clearly a Leampp.
It's like when your baby's born and you're like, this baby is not called Leanne.
Well, we can ask my ma. We can ask her if she was wrong.
But yeah, it provided a lot of laughs. Overall,
best trip ever.
Yeah, if you made it to the end of this very chaotic episode about our trip to Korea, then I salute you. Thanks very much for listening, and hopefully you got some information and or joy out of it. Mm-hmm. If all you learned about was the an organization of the venue, then we could spread that message.
And how brilliant the rap line solo was.
Yeah, the rap line is superior always. We didn't really get into this, but we started off a little bit of a war between the
rap line and
vocal line bias groups, because we had 2 and 2, and it wasn't close who we won for sure.
No, yeah, rap line better.
Yeah, rap line was better. And hopefully we've inspired you to go on your own Korea trip.
Do message us. We do have an itinerary that we can share with you.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Yeah. Send us an email and we will show you our itinerary.
Yeah. Where can they do that?
On the In Exchange for a follow.
Our email is generationbts all the albums @gmail.com, and you can follow us on Instagram and new as today TikTok @generationbts_,
and on Twitter actually @generationbts_. I'm probably mainly going to use that Twitter account to like
Youngie photos.
No, I have my own Twitter account for that. Maybe I'll try and copy across any podcast announcements on it as well. And thanks for listening again. I've been Kristine.
I've been Leanne.
And I've been Natasha. And we have been
Generation BTS.